That's my only question.
Hey everyone, welcome to Breaking Brand. And today I have someone special. We are bringing down Boundless. I think that's obvious now with my posting, but we were able to get Kashfi from Boundless, so we'll have some insight. Also, an insider in that brand, so that it will be lovely to break it down.
What is insider and all? I don't know. I don't know what that means. But hi everyone. Thanks Rahul for having me. Excited to be here and break down all things boundless.
Perfect. I would do an intro of Kashi, but I didn't. Don't think you need an intro.
I definitely
at
need
least,
an intro.
at least not on my channel though. Like everyone knows you in that case. Yeah.
Well,
Uh,
hi everyone. I'm Kashvi. I recently joined Boundless to lead community and socials. I've been in crypto for over 4 years now, and I'm based out of Mumbai, India, and I'm just passionate about what we're working on. Very recently stumbled into all things ZK, so I transitioned from doing more like NFT stuff and entertainment and cultural stuff to like the more technical side, which is something that I was looking forward to since a while. So yeah, I'm here now and I'm excited. And it's been 2.5 months since I joined Boundless, but in these 2 months, we've done a lot of community campaigns. We have one going on right now called Proof of Thought, but we'll get into that as we move forward.
that's a very good intro. I love using that berry thing. I was like, yeah, this is funny.
It's so good, right?
Yeah. Also, obviously, everyone knows the format, but I'll walk you through the format. And just a second. Yeah. Okay. Mike, I think my kid was here, but you might have him here doing maybe like getting in the stream somewhere. Perfect. Let's get into this. So, Kashi, the format is very simple. Uh, before you were here, I
Mhm.
would just go. We have already all the stuff from what Boundless has posted, and I would try to
Awesome.
break down what is Boundless, why the logo they have, what is their lore, what's the story they are going with, what is their marketing thing, if they have a mascot, why that mascot, how they are using, how well they are using it. So we try to do two things. One, understand what was the thought process behind it. I try to guess it, but you are here, so we'll try to guess it together. And the second thing is you are see if how better we are Boundless is utilizing their brand or how they can utilize it better in future. So
Sounds
what
good.
I'll do is I have a Figma file in front of me. Do let me know if you can see that.
Yeah, I can see it. I wish Rekha was here actually. She is our head of comms and branding, and she's like a better person to get into all things brand. But I'm gonna do my best to
No, no, it's
uh
fine.
I'm gonna do my best to answer these questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, Rekha would have all the answer, right? It's not fun
Yeah.
then.
Yeah,
She would
Rekha,
know.
I mean, she made it, like she worked on this logo along with the rest of our marketing team. Shout out to Santi, who's also been pivotal. And she came up with the berry analogy. Like she's had it as her profile photo for the longest time, like for her own account. And she's always wanted to use this analogy to make sense of something in crypto. And when she started like reading about ZK and understanding what Risk Zero is doing with Boundless, it just made sense to bring these two together because I feel like every successful crypto brand needs a narrative and a story that's going to resonate with people. And Berries seemed to be doing that. And I feel like they are doing a good job because it's made a lot of the like creative side of crypto more curious about what we're building. And that was, I think, one of the biggest goals.
Got it. I think yeah. Obviously have a theory where the whole thing goes in branding is like I did my research and obviously I'll be asking you the question if it's correct or not. But
Okay.
let's start with the obvious ones. Okay. So I was going through Boundless profile, right? Like going through the profile and seeing what there is, and I noticed a shift. Okay, I
Hmm.
noticed a very big shift around January. Before
Okay.
January, the branding was something like, wait, let me just reach you there. Uh, yep, here's the branding before January. We have these typical old, like typical 3D
Mm-hmm.
sphere stars,
Mm-hmm.
stars in glass, right? And then I noticed that in January they changed from suddenly from this. So uh, visually, it changed from this video here. In
Yeah.
January 28th, they had this video where they use the berry file compute.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming before, like, something would happen, some practice would happen here, or something they did there. But I want to learn this because again, I am a little bit clueless when it comes to the whole ZK things. I would love to get some context from you, right? But
Mm-hmm.
why are we using multiple colors berry here? I'm assuming is that this is some metaphor or something like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, that was before I joined, but I think this is when we were just, the team was just playing around with the idea of, okay, do berries make sense? Testing the
Hmm.
waters a little bit, see how people will respond. Um, but yeah, we don't really use all of these colors anymore. We only use the like
Red.
reddish brown, like reddish maroonish one, the ones that you guys see on the left. But I think that was just like an experimental post or a way to tease that okay, the berries are coming, you know.
Got it. Cool. Let's jump into this. So, how would I explain this to the audience? Like, what is happening? What is how this brand works? What are the elements they are? So, they if they try to recreate or understand, they can break
Yeah,
it down. And obviously, we'll go to the lore. We have the berry lore. I have some clarity on it, but
amazing.
I'll just go back to this because one thing I try to like understand is the logo. Till here, the logo was this one, where it was just simple text. There was no icon or nothing. But
Yeah,
then suddenly, after this whole berry thing, we got this icon here.
yes, we did.
Yeah,
It's so pretty.
it is pretty. It is pretty, and obviously, this. Anyone who understands this would know that this is an icon. Is an icon of zero. Wait, let me just make it for them. It is what if we had zero, like because work with ZK, right? But how do we make it stylish? That's where this icon comes from. Uh,
Definitely. I've also just heard behind the scenes in the team that it's like two semicircles coming together. But I like this zero theory as well very much. I'm into it because our team is filled with like engineers who love math, like really at its core. Our engineers are mathematicians, cryptographers, and this just makes a lot of sense as well.
Yeah. So yeah, I like the idea that it was
Yeah.
like the logo. If I was a designer, brand designer who was working on this, I would need a starting point to work on. So I would just find the keywords, and obviously, boundless is something was okay. How do I show foundation, or how do I show that? I will just show a shape, right? Like something like this. And if I'm doing that, then how do I make this boundless? And I think this is where this thing happens that somewhere this became a zero thing while the process was there. So
Mm,
this was like there. How do I make it boundless? And this is where this flowy shape comes in.
mm.
Like I love how this flows, but it's not bound to each other. It's like different two shapes, but still zero there. And obviously,
Yeah.
it makes this fluid shape.
It's honestly, it's like it's fluid, is how I like to see it, and that it can be repeated and it can look infinite in some
Yeah.
ways. I don't know if I have the scarf on me somewhere here, but if you look at the Boundless scarf, which I think a lot of people have liked that we did, it's like the logo repeated and it's constantly flowing. It's not like a final state. And I really like that about our logo. And yeah,
Wait.
it can be used as a pattern for sure.
Yeah, I think was that brand.
Yes, or Hermes or LV.
Yeah, I think a good pattern to see. I mean, this is obvious, but like the one they have used. So I was going to come to this point, right? So when I was breaking this down to the audience, right? Obviously, when I was looking at the logo, I was like, okay, how this logo will be utilized? Like, was the
Yeah.
use case of this logo other than, because I was going through the whole stuff. Uh, this is where we get example of how pattern can be used in merge, and this a lot of people do, right? And
Hmm.
before jumping into this, I think I would love to go through in some stuff about the whole branding of it. Okay.
Yeah.
So one thing I noticed, which went there, so for everyone, right? Like you had Berry. The base idea was, so I'll just walk them through what, where does the Berry thing comes from, where does the image come
Oh,
from?
yeah. I'd love to hear what you think it is, and then I'll explain what was happening behind the team and what is verifiable compute and why we're sort of tying it into ZK and ZK proofs.
Sure. I mean, obviously, I thought of where the thing comes from, how does connect with Berry. We'll come to that because that's where the gap is. Right now, what I'm thinking of is like I don't see a way of, and I think that's where the ZK part, as you said, would come into it, right? But this is the meme, like the happy happy song you might have heard, right?
Yeah.
And at that time, there was this trend of having fruit cats.
Hmm.
So if you go and you'll find, this is by the way a great example of showing that uh, you need a mascot for your brand if you want to do it. You don't have to do a typical cat or typical dog as a human. This is a great example of using a meme as a mascot.
Hmm.
And we have a lot of these, right? Like recently, I think there's some meme about two dogs fighting is going on. There's always some memes which keep coming up, right? And when I saw these fruit cat meme, there was this meme of this strawberry, not raspberry, but strawberry cat crying.
We're
And I was
friendly
just,
to all berries.
sorry,
We're friendly to all berries. Blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, even
um,
bananas are a berry.
what, bananas are not? No,
Google it, like bananas are berries. I was
is it like
shocked.
tomatoes like a fruit? Is that the same thing or what? I don't
No,
know.
tomato is not a berry, but bananas are berries. Like botanists think that, yeah.
And strawberries are not though.
Yeah. I'm just gonna pretend like they are. Because
Yeah,
what do
if I did not
botanists
search, we would not have found it.
they're
But
never gonna know. Yeah.
yeah, interesting. So yeah, this is where the meme comes from, and I was noticing that, and I think generally the process goes like, okay, we have this brand, and let's go with brand. What brand's personality is, right? Like figure out. Also, Kashi, a part of this is me teaching who is watching how we do branding also, so they can use it in their thing also. But here, if I look at the brand personality till here, it's funny. But how do I reach this to this stage, right? How do I find the funny meme? Is that I got to figure out which direction I want my brand to go, because this, if we are using these mascot, this will look funny, and the brand is not totally about it. Obviously we are web3, so we want to make it funny but not totally just make it memey, right? And this is where I think this, sorry, where's my cursor? Oh, oops, oops. Yeah, this is where this berry thing comes in. Like we take the cat, we take the meme which already exists, right? A lot of people do this for emojis, where they use existing emojis and make their product connect to that so they can use that in their name. We have seen this for a lot of fruits. We have seen this for a lot of obviously animals and a lot of sparks, right? Like someone who's working at in Polygon, we had that purple heart, right? So people use that to connect to something existing already. And here in this case, that was to connect with this meme, but use berry as a branding element, not the meme as a branding element. And here's, by the way, what I love specifically, right? So this was happening. I was like, okay, how do we make this branding element? And here's what I think happened, and here's what I have done. From Barry, obviously, it went to more premiumness of it because existing wise, we already had some branding. Uh,
Mhm.
yeah, we already had glasses and everything. We already had this visual. So if you notice in the starting, it was experiment. Even if the logo was there, it was experimenting with still with this color or wait, with this glass theme which already was there, and we'll break down the website later, but that same still there. If you go, the website is still glass. So obviously two things was, okay, we have glass, we have this berry thing which is coming, or at least till I think after this it was there. How do we connect that? And obviously the design thing was the glass berries which we have, which is this one. But if you have something like this, how do you figure out the fonts and everything? You gotta give it a personality. And here's the I think the personality was premiumness, or how does it is, not glamour though, premiumness. What else? Elegant, as that flawless, like in that case, right? So that was a personality, and I think I would obviously, the font and everything I see, it looks to me like how alcohol or wine or anything like that packaging happens, right? So if you see these glass, they have this glass element. Even if you're like having a drink, like this is how something look like. Even the wines have this custom sans serif fonts. So we are here using that sans serif font, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also, one thing I noticed was that we have this custom red color in this. So three elements are making this whole thing. Color wise, we still use white, but use gradients. This is my boring part of telling everyone what's happening there. But
I
tell
love
me,
it though.
you were gonna tell me the meme thing, right? I'll do this boring part later. You tell me the
What
meme
was
thing.
it?
What was there? The mascot,
Meme.
the berry
Ah,
thing.
yeah. The berry was like obviously a part of Reka's brand, and then she berry pulled the whole team. Even before I joined Boundless, like I remember texting her and being really excited about it and what's happening. And is it okay to get technical over here for like a
Yeah,
minute
yeah, sure. Please, please.
on why we chose berries? So ZK um, equates to zero knowledge. It's a niche
Correct.
within crypto that's about privacy. The use case of zero knowledge tech is that you can prove that something is true without revealing the content of it. Like, for
Correct.
instance, I can prove that inside this bottle I have lemonade without opening the bottle and telling people and showing you that it's lemonade.
Okay.
But and there's different people involved in the process.
Correct.
There is there's your prover, there are your requesters, and provers and requesters operate in this thing called the proof marketplace. So where berries and verification and verifiable compute comes in is into this marketplace. Think of think of Boundless as your farmers market, which is your marketplace, and
Okay.
berries, proofs, and ZK and all of these things as your verifiable compute. When like the life cycle of a berry in real life is like, okay, first we harvest the berry, then you send it to the chefs, like then you send it to the farmers market sends
Correct.
it to the chefs make things out of it. Now, the way it works in the Boundless ecosystem and what verification means for crypto is that verifiable compute reframes what verifiable compute is into something that's fun and something that people will want to care about. It is our way of sort of, making ZK less intimidating. Think of Boundless as the farmer's market where everything scales: buying, selling, verifying ZK proofs, all of that. Your provers are the farmers. Provers are the people who generate the proofs. So, like in this case of the bottle, like I am the prover who's like,
Correct.
asking for this to be verified, and requesters are the chefs. So requesters are your people who buy the berries and turn them into something that's delicious. It could be berry jam, it could be berry pancakes, it could be a berry cheesecake, whatever it is
Correct.
that they want. And this is all done through ZK powered apps and roll ups in the space. So it's not just a meme, it's actually real, and it is a very I don't want to say it's technical, but it's making technical things less intimidating and less complex by tying them into simple narratives. And like
Mm.
Just as with a berry, you don't need to inspect every seed to know that you've got something sweet. You can tell that a proof is true without knowing all of the secrets inside it. It just
Mm.
works. Berries just work, honestly. They're compact units of verifiable truth that is needed to be traded in the marketplace so that people can make this jam and juice and cheesecake and whatever else they want to. So, yeah, it started from a place of wanting to simplify and relate to a niche of tech. And
Mm.
you know how in school sometimes people are just like, you'll never learn something unless you explain it to yourself in your own words.
Correct.
This was Rekha's thinking that, like, I need to explain it to myself in a way that I get it. And it just ended up being a thing that other people also resonate a lot with. And that's why the
Mm.
berry meme exists. And that it's not just a meme, there's a lot more to it. And I'm happy to share more articles and resources with anyone who's interested in learning about it.
Mm. Okay. Okay.
And yeah, and so like how we made this a thing on
Mm.
crypto Twitter is that the berry stuff went kind of live with Rekha's announcement of her joining as the head of comms. And
Correct.
then from there on, we had campaigns lined up. I joined like 2 months later. At Eat Denver, though, they had like this whole berry stall and like the branding really came to life there. And I joined 2 months later, and we did a campaign called Proof of Berry, where everyone had to just post photos of berries if they spotted them anywhere. And we saw a lot of like people participating in it. So that's the first in the series of campaigns that we're doing. Proof of Berry, then we did Proof of Read, which was our white paper campaign, where you could like highlight things from our white paper and share them on socials. I think at the top left, you have the ZK mining highlight picked out. Yeah, those were
Yeah.
the visuals that would get auto generated when we selected some text. And then the
Yeah.
ongoing one is called Proof of Thought, where people have proven that they're berries, they've proven that berries can read, and now the berries are proving that they can think by creating content around what is boundless, what did they read about, and
Yeah. But
what's happening in space.
by the way, for everyone, you're calling the audience interacting with the person carrying berries, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I want to let people know that, like how
Yeah.
like celebrity has fan club and they call them single word. Here, everyone who's a user of Boundless is a berry. Someone who's reading about Boundless is a berry. Someone posting about a content about is a berry, right?
Yes.
Yeah. You and
Precisely.
I are also a berry now.
We're berries. We're so berryful.
That like I'm a branding berry though, but yeah, got it. Got it. Got it. So one question I have, like, then why that metaphor, right? So I see that this berry thing is utilizing everywhere. It's definitely it's a play on, by the way, for everyone. It's very obvious, but ZK works on ZK proofs. You need to verify, and verify plays with verify, right? That's the
Yeah.
uh, like the keyword here which we are playing around and all that, right? But
Hmm.
then if you're explaining this into that, the content, there's no explainer videos. There's like, if I go to the white paper I can read it, but there's like, is the metaphor used somewhere to explain this, like how you explain this right now on the call, right? Is there somewhere the content I can go and understand this with this metaphor?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Should I share my screen or
Yeah, please
there's
go ahead. Let it share.
I can send you the link to an article.
No, no, you can just
So,
share. I'll just put you on the spot. Yep, and you are here.
yeah, so we have articles about like why berries and why this sort of makes sense. And if you go into this, you'll be able to see why verifiable compute, what is the life circle of a berry, and why it sort of ties into boundless. Um, it's actually something that like this is the team as berry.
This is like I was gonna go that. That's the funnier way of using that meme to expand into a thing. Like
Exactly. And then it comes to life in interesting ways as well. Like we have this cute berry
the stamp,
stamp.
obviously, verification. The stamps are gonna be there.
Yeah. And then Reka also wrote an article on the state of ZK. So why berries are not just about Boundless, but all ZK participants in the space and like what 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 drives ZK forward. And then, even if you go to the Boundless account, I think it's so important that we, oh wow, I'm
Hmm?
logged in from there. We try to, hey, that's us. We try to incorporate berries into our day to day messaging by involving the community, but also posting our own original content around this. So if you'll see, like, this is an IRL meetup that we did in China over the weekend. There's berries, there's Boundless, there's a CTA, which is your QR code, because these are all important elements of design and branding. This is a photo
Hmm.
of our team member with this in China to, like, get the community excited. We're hosting a berry full picnic in New York this week. So just teasing that, getting people excited again. And we've made like a custom picnic blankets for it.
Yeah, the berries
Um,
there.
and then we keep pushing out thought leadership type of content like this so that the message is constantly being repeated and people continue to associate us with berries while also educating them about what the berry narrative is actually about beyond just being a meme. So over here, we've used a berry to represent the blockchain trilemma about scalability, decentralization, and security.
Hmm.
What this means, like when you put a triangle like this, it's almost like you can only have two of these things. It's impossible to have all three at the same time. But we believe that, the future is abundant and that you can actually achieve these using Boundless, because we introduced this mechanism called proof of verifiable work. I want to share this amazing proof of verifiable work edit that my team made, because
As a
it's,
yeah, sure. But
yeah,
now, like you're talking about, oh, this one. This is that Pixar
yes,
thing. Yeah, I got it.
yeah. But yeah,
Yeah, this,
and then, sorry, go
yeah.
ahead.
No, this is funny, but like if I, as a brand, police kind of thing, this is a little bit off the brand, the colors and everything. But I get that just like it's a meme thing. You want to match it to Pixar, and they have this certain color style and all that. So yeah, I understand.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, we wanted to like honor Pixar first and then think about Boundless,
Yeah. So
you know?
one thing I was thinking on this, right? Like, so generally, whenever we work with branding and we are working on some brands, right, we'll obviously figure out, okay, how can we take over on certain colors, right?
Hmm.
You want to share something else, or if not, we'll just jump into Fig Jam and just jam on some more
Yeah,
things.
yeah,
Jam. That's also funny. What to say.
yeah.
Berry jam on this. But yeah, so like what we try to do is like we try to create a recall value, right? And the easiest way to do that is using something which exists already there. So normally people will try to let's say try to get I think associate is something from real world, which is uh, I just write down because I share this file with everyone so they can then experiment and see and go through this, which is memorable. I don't know if that's the right word, but which is like uh, which reminds of the band.
Hmm.
Okay, so in this case, generally, if you're doing something like this, you would do it with colors. Colors are the easiest one.
Hmm.
If you can own a color, like you become Coca-Cola, you own red. If you become like someone like in Web3, and obviously it's changed, but before purple was Polygon, green was Solana, was already there, right? Orange is obviously Bitcoin. You'll see an orange in any crypto setting, you will think of Bitcoin first, they own that color, right? And the other element you can own is a font or a visual style or a mascot, like animal, right? Like, okay, this you see a rabbit now. I go in world and I'm in a Web3 event and I see a rabbit somewhere in some booth, I will think of Mega ETH without even thinking twice because it's hammered into my mind again and again through their feed and everything. But in your case, I actually never thought about food for the brand element, which is there, right? So you are using food. Obviously, this comes from there, but the usage of this is so huge. Like, uh, food opens up a new whole experience for people. So event wise, it opens up a whole new like thing you can do. Generally people when they are doing events, they try to match the colors, they try to do certain style of theme of events. But here you have a food item. Even if you are somewhere in any actually anywhere in the world, you don't have any branding on your booth, If you just have berry, like a bowl of berry on your table, people will know it's Boundless. And and getting that is so easier. You don't have to worry about printing, you don't have to worry about anything. It's that brand remembrance, like the recall value is very high, and anyone can do it. Like if I'm doing this somewhere in a tier 2 in India, I can easily order them or get them from store and just put them, and they'll become Boundless. So this is very interesting and definitely a useful tip. Like I would also try to get into the food thing. It's really interesting to do some branding.
Honestly, I'm so glad that you brought this up because it's an important element of the Boundless brand, which means that like what I'm trying to say is that we're trying to make ZK accessible to
Correct.
everyone. And berries are so accessible, right? Like you don't have to spend a lot of money to get them. You don't have to, I don't know, be extremely well educated to understand how they're grown. And it's important for protocols like ours, who are trying to be an ecosystem of ecosystems, to be universal in our branding and to make things as, easily accessible and understandable as possible. So playing with food and color and all of these things has definitely helped a lot. And one of our events in recently at Consensus Toronto was about having a berry lodge where we served berry smoothies, berry bowls, and like that kind of stuff. And Alpha, for everyone listening to this, we're also going to lean more into the health and wellness angle because we've seen berries act as antioxidants. It's the best anti-inflammatory food that you can have if you have issues with inflammation in your body. So we're sort of going to play more on that angle and see where it takes us. So expect more fitness and wellness type of challenges if you're a part of the berries community. And if you're not, what are you doing? I urge you to join ASAP.
Yeah, if you want to become very fit, this is the time. Yeah. I think that's interesting. And one more thing I would also like, this you're talking about how like you're explaining this with the cup, right? Like the bottle that you are a prover. You're telling that there's lemonade in this bottle, right? You are proving to that. I was like, what if like Boundless would have a toffee or a chocolate like a impact, and it's there's no color outside. It's just
Yeah.
in Boundless branding, and inside you can have multiple flavors of berries. So you have strawberry, raspberry, blackberry, blueberry, and everything. And then you tell the person who you are giving like, here's blueberry. Like you can like Kashvi can have all the blueberry chocolates, right? And you tell them and you prove them, okay, here's the blueberry. They don't only know because you told them, and they can't actually look in the toffee. It's a fun way to do this.
Yes, I think that is actually really fun, and we'll definitely play with the idea of including it at an event or something like a guess the berry challenge. Like what berry is it?
Yeah, a lot of things can be done. Yeah, I think
There's
even the
so much,
berries.
like there's boundless possibilities with the berry
I love that
narrative.
wordplay.
Even the word boundless is so good. Like, you know, I personally like it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that has taken a second seat after berries, but I think that also definitely has a lot of potential. But I think because we work in an industry where like we wanna be in that sort of thing, we wanna make it more memey, funny. I think this berry is definitely a good decision to jump into this side of things. Boundless is fun, but again, it's a little bit professional in that side. Like it's technical a little bit. Then when I just
Mhm.
like saying verifiable, it's just funny to like get into that.
Yeah.
Cool. I know that you have a short time. Do you still have time? We can jump into it. If not, I'll just jump into
We
the
can do
boring
like
part.
6 minutes more.
Okay. So then I'll just do the boring part of these things. But yeah, so what next step is we're gonna try to break down the fonts. A lot of people will try to recreate this or see which kind of fonts you're using. So as I said, that branding wise, everyone's looking like the theme was once that last video which I showed you guys here over there, you know, these are glass berries, like because if you want to give them texture, the glass is already in the branding. So that's glassberry came into the place. But while doing that, how do you may expand that? Like, how do you expand that branding without making it obvious, like too much of the berry? You want to make sure they're in the background and your hero element is different, which is where these lights or like how when you pass light through glasses comes in. So I was going through and I was noticing these rainbow lights.
Yeah.
These are element of this brand which we'll see everywhere. If you're making a graphic, it will be there. So rainbow lights are there. Then
This
obviously pattern in
is
the background. Yeah, go ahead.
There's actually like lore over here, and it's
Okay,
about like you see how the berries are glass, and we use a lot of glass in the branding. So
correct,
whenever light shines through a glass, it creates a rainbow, and
correct.
that's where these other color leaks come from that you see in our backgrounds, and yeah, essentially like that little bit of color comes through that. So it's also just it's vibey, it's storytelling, it fits, it makes sense, and it's because you put in one input and you get infinite outputs.
Yeah,
You
is this
get
a? I mean, like now that you brought this out, it's like the prism thing, right? Like,
yes, exactly.
yeah, yeah. You have, and actually, I was, yeah, I can easily connect this to zero, like zero knowledge in that case, right? Like here, from here, you just see one thing, but here you have multiple things, right? So this is the prover which is telling that what is inside, like in a way, right? And I think you'll be able to put better words on it. But even glass is a great example of, I think, zero proof, right? Because like we have different type of glasses. We have these frosted glasses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which you know that something is there, but you don't know what is there.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is a great lure also to play around with the whole zero proof again. Like it's really exciting when that's the tech which we can put different analogies and metaphors. It's just funny and it becomes real. Like I know there's chair here, but I don't know until I know there's a chair. I see something is there, but when someone's telling me there's a chair, I'll start seeing it through that glass. But until that, it's hidden. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that glass is a great element to play around also, and then obviously after Barry, it adds into that. But I still go with the theory of that. Okay, the berries were there, so what become made from berry wines, and wines comes in a glass bottles. Let's go with glass and colors, and then just red. That's my theory, to be honest, right now.
Yes, 100%.
Easier one to like just go with. But yeah, I think this one is really cool in that case. But yeah, then for people, I'll just put them font. So this is a sans serif font, and specifically, I noticed this big change in the brand tone, at least, right? That if I go to any graphics, this is the vibe. The
Mm.
fonts change totally, and the vibe changed totally. Instead of going to typical tech product, this like after the rebranding, this doesn't look like a tech product. If
Mm.
there's no logo, I would know this is about some tech. I would think this is about some consumer brand. uh, More of a consumer brand, like or a premium consumer brand. Specifically, this one, I just love this graphic. Like I can have this as a like a wallpaper. This one is so cool. Specifically, a lot of people won't notice, but the light and shadows in this, the texture which is added here, and even the
Mm.
font. What I've noticed everywhere. This one I don't know why. This I think was an older graphic which I have, but after it obviously became streamlined. That if you're using a title, it needs to be in red. It needs to be in this theme, and if you're not, we use the black, but we use the pattern and everything. So with the squares, this pattern comes in, play around, and just explore that part. If not, let's just go with this color scheme. Uh, this this texture also, by the way, is really cool. I think only used once here, then never used. But like, just
I
think
think
of,
maybe we'll use it now that we know that you like it.
yeah, it's really interesting. Like I like this. This is definitely there. This is much better. But if I want to break that brand element, like if I'm posting a lot of white, once I post this and this stands out. So if I'm doing something which is needs extra attention, I'll double down on this custom. Now this obviously becomes a sticker, and I saw someone made a sticker on the feed also.
Yeah.
This become
Yeah.
a sticker style. But
Speaking of things on the feed, before I drop off, I wanted
yeah,
to
yeah,
say
proof of.
that we're doing this campaign called Proof of Thought, and creators are welcome to be a part of it and co create the Boundless narrative along with us, the team. We've proven that we're berries, we've proven that berries can read, and now we want to prove that berries can think by creating betterful content. This means that you can create GIFs, memes, long posts, threads, articles, explainers, live streams. There is no limit to what you can create. And we want people to think big, think boundless, and make some epic content about what we're building. We've honestly seen some really, really good entries already. If you go to the Boundless Twitter profile, I reshared a couple of things. We saw an article from a community member. We saw Vana, aka Coin Empress, make like a TikTok style video about that was the article. That's
Yeah.
like just an explanation. If you go down a little bit, there's also yeah,
Yeah, that's one I mean that video, yeah.
yeah, and she's wearing a Barra Baddies t-shirt. There might be something between Barra Baddies and Boundless happening
Berry
soon, but
baddies.
Berry Baddies. She's a Berry Baddie.
Yeah.
Um, Cute, isn't it? And then if you go
If-
even further down, there's this explainer from Say Marielle about what Boundless is and how it works. So there's been a lot of good content in already,
Yeah.
but there's room for more. And if anyone wants to share, if anyone wants explanations, guidelines, anything, just let me know.
Perfect. There's this guy also, no, who made this video about breaking the brand about the berry also, right? I just noticed this guy.
Yeah, this guy. I don't. Yeah, man, I've seen him on my timeline a little bit. Yes,
Yeah, but Kashmir, thank you so much for doing this. This was really fun. And this is the first time I have someone who's from that brand and break it down. And hopefully everyone, by the way, you can't, I don't know if you can see comments, but Rohit, Samriti, ApexX, everyone is just like saying GM.
that's
And
so cute.
thank you for coming and thank you
Thank
for doing
you.
this.
Of course, and I'm excited to catch up with the rest of the breakdown. I'll definitely watch it after my calls today.
Thank you, Kashmir. See you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Yo, so that's what Kashfi, and this was lovely. Like I got to know a lot of things, and this, by the way, brought a very exciting point that I might want to do some more research on the tech side of thing, because Kashi brought a very good points of how even the tech, what they are trying to sell, brought up a lot of things in branding. So I would love to, like, I think in the complicated one, I'll get some people to understand, or at least I'll come with research and all that. But now that Kashi is on her way and we have some base understanding of the brand from Kashi, let's jump into and do our own analysis. But I'll just now, this is for designers to break it down. If you know, pattern wise, they're using this pattern logo as a pattern, which is obviously not a very new thing. It's been used, but the way you use it is like makes a lot of sense. And if you, this aligns with your brand, you can't just put any logo and make a pattern out of it. It won't work. You need to tastefully choose how you want to show it. So in this case, while this one is amazing, like if other than here, if you notice, they are not putting the logo in the shareable image because they don't want to make it like how a lot of merch has their logo on the front. They want to make it look like wait, I felt like that I'm not sharing my screen, but yeah, getting here. So like if you notice how they are using this pattern in the background, so you still know this is from Boundless. The text is very small, so if I see this on my feet like the small, I won't worry about it, but subconsciously I'll see this color and this pattern, I will know this is about Boundless. So this was a very subtle play, and I this is, by the way, how you use patterns. If you're going to use something, don't make, like, patterns are not supposed to be in your face. They are not supposed to be so prominent. They need to be subtle, they need to be clear like this. So lovely way here. I think then if they are using this graphic, somewhere they have to make, like, this is a event they are doing, and in this they are using this as a illustration element also. So this doesn't only work as a pattern, but also work as a illustration to fill space. So if, because generally what you have, I talk, like every brand needs an illustration style or imagery or something, because you can't just put text on it. You want some visual element, right? So for them, it's obviously simple to just put a berry here. They could have actually just pasted a berry here, right? And because they have Weinman and Dine, they could actually just use something like this with the poster. But if I want to make something cleaner, pattern has also be utilized like this. So that is really interesting. And this, by the way, I thought of this being from the wine thing, but now that I'm looking at it again, I feel like this font or this visual style come from uh, jams. I don't know. Somehow it reminds me of some older brands of jam which I used to see. Right. Uh, uh, Oops. If I go and search for packaging, so while this is a tech brand, but this is designed in a way that it looks like a, as I said, consumer brand, right? Everything is in that. Yeah. So older food brand used to use this kind of visual style. Like they would have the serif slanted font, and even this one is using that serif slanted font. I don't know the exact font. I would love to check that out though. But here's, let's check it out. They're not using that on their main website or anywhere, so I can't actually see which font they are using. But other than that, that is there. Let's just go back to the Figma. Yep. So they're using this older packaging style. Really interesting. They're still using this glass 3D thing, but now it's dead. Mostly, I don't see it anywhere. So hopefully they double down on this visual style where they have this glass just for as filler. And obviously, this is not designed by the whole design team. You can see the way this text is there, not the effort. But everything else looks cool. So we had three elements here, right? They made a mascot or a branding element from a meme, which they liked, right? Connected with actual tech, use that to explain the tech. And now, obviously, making it like have a food as a recall item. Like you can just think of that food and you will just think of Boundless, right? And to be honest, brutally honest, I don't even remember Boundless anymore. I don't remember that name. Whenever I see berry, I just get into the whole verifiable computer. Just berries, I just get, okay, that's a ZK thing. The Boundless thing also is not in my memory anymore. Like when I'm listening about berry, I just get it to ZK direct. कि अच्छा ये इस company के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. But yeah, that's Boundless for you. I'll drop this Figma file for you in the chat afterwards in the same tweet later. You can find it there. And if you have any other questions, you already have questions, you already have connects of Kashvi, reach out to her on Twitter. I'm obviously here. And I'll see you in the next episode of Breaking Brand. Do let me know who you want me to like get on this call and talk about. And I'll see you all in the next episode of Breaking Brand. Thank you.